Hi, wow. It has been a surreal moment for us. We are now in the new year, and so for this year, 2025, we will be looking at the Kalour. Well, actually, for this month. It's not a whole year thing. It's only a this month thing. This month we'll be looking at the Kalour soft pastel colored pencils. Now, if you remember when I did my birthday haul, I showed you guys that I had this as an amazing Christmas now, as an amazing birthday present from my husband. I still have Christmas on the brain, and I wanted to look at it today, this month, the month of January, for you. So I'm gonna do this video as usual in two parts. Part one, I'll give you my first impression of this video, and then I'll take it away, work with it some, and then in part two, I will bring to you a full perspective of what I think of these pencils. Okay, so a bit of information. We're going to be diving right into this. A bit of information about the Kalour soft pastel pencils. Let me lift it up to kind of reduce some of that glare that is on this pencil. The Kalour soft pastels have high pigmentation. It is with excellent light fastness, and they are oiled and wax free. Easy blending and mixing. They can do dry blending with smudging, and you can smudge it with your fingers or with blending tools. The Kalour soft pastel pencils, colored pencils, have good adhesion to paper and can be used on darker tone paper, and work can be treated with a fixative. Now, the company did recommend that these are sharpened with a utility knife and not with a sharpener, and what I just read was what I got from the website, the Kalour website, regarding these pencils. So now let's take a look at my packaging, how they came, and the pencils themselves. So they come in a aluminum tin, and it has written right there 72 pieces, soft pastel colored pencils, soft touch, premium expert, artist premium quality, rich and vibrant colors, soft smooth leads, and non-toxic. There's nothing written on the sides, as you can see, and I'm going through this kind of fast. And to the back, yeah, it talks about the Kalour company, how it's a brand of professional colored pencils are made from the best quality wood and high pigment lead, perfect for shading, layering, blending, and detailing. They are widely used for designs, portraitures, landscapes, anime, adult coloring, and more, and quite suitable for artists of all levels. We deserve your trust. And you will see in this video if they're gonna get my trust. And of course, they talked about the pencils right here, and they said that this Kalour PDAS brand soft core lids, it has 72 unique vibrant colors, no duplicate, suitable for precision coloring and filling, ideal for drawing, illustrating, and coloring, break resistant, soft, smooth, and thick lead, professional grade artist quality colored pencils, unsurpassable light fast and acid free quality pigments, at artist quality colored pencils for every level of expertise, smooth color laydown for superior blending and shading, and vast color range with no and color names for easy recognition, and will take legal actions against any infringement or unauthorized reproduction of any portion of it. Ooh. And so they're claiming about their non-toxic verification, both in America with the ASTM D4236 and in China with the EN31. Now, these are design is manufactured in the United States. Well, they said design is manufactured in the United States of the design is in the United States of America, but it's manufactured in the People's Republic of China. It gives you information where you can find Kalour in the United States, and there's a product warning. This product contains small parts which may cause suffocation. Keep away from children. It has the 3+ air and some other stuff. So yeah, now that we have looked at the tin, like I said, this is a first impression. The only thing I've done with this is basically prepare the swatch sheet. And when I said prepare, I just put Open it up. And the other part of the tin I want you guys to recognize is this one here, where you see the color representation that are in this set, sorry. And it does give you a little key here of what light fastness they're about. And as you can see, the most light fast of the color is 1, and not a lot of them has a light fastness of 1. I think it's only about 2 or 3 of them has a light fastness of 1. I think it's on that because that's the most light fast. Actually, none of them has a light fastness of 1, but it is highly light fast. 2 means good light fastness. Looks like maybe, guys, I don't think so. And I see a couple trees, you know, like here is a light fastness of 3, here's a light fastness of 3. So I do see a couple 3s, but I don't see 1 or 2s. And I see a lot of 4s, which is limited light fastness, and 5. So yeah, either they're being very honest about their light fastness or kind of weird about it. And the reason I say that is because color I am expecting to be highly light fast are not. Like their primary blue is not highly light fast. I'm looking at this, guys. Let me bring you guys in a bit closer. And let me open you guys up a bit for you guys to see what I'm looking at. I'm looking here, right here. Primer blue. It's PO22 and it's less light fast. And you would think primer blue would be a very light fast color because it's primer blue, whereas the peach, which is here, PO55, which I think, in my opinion, would be a suspected less light fast color. It has light fastness. It's not good light fast, but it's light fast. And I'm like, okay. That's why I said it's kind of weird. So I'm not sure if they're being honest about their light fast charting or not, but this is really weird to me. Like I said, the only thing I actually did with this is put pastel paper on it. So this is just a piece of pastel paper. I think this is a Strathmore pastel paper that I just glued across this so that I could swatch it out, because the swatch card that they provide is just a regular cardstock, and I really want to see these perform on a surface that I would use for them. And I'll pull out one of the pencils now. This is Flesh Tint, even though this is not my flesh color. Or look at it, not even their swatch indication is my flesh color. Anyway, this is Flesh Tint, and it's PO08, and it is less light fast. And the other thing I could say about it, let's measure these pencils to see how long they are, and I'll be measuring them in centimeters. So I have my centimeter ruler out. They're about 17.7. Come on, show it. Yeah, 17.7 centimeters long. And let me use my other measuring tool to measure how long they are here. And the barrel is about 7.5 millimeters in width, and their lead here is about 4.5 millimeters in width. So now that we have measured these, so we get the measurements of the 17.7, 7.5, and 4.5. Okay, I don't know, I think I lost my tack for examining pencils because I haven't done it in such a long time. Yeah, so, and I forget to mention that I'm allergic to certain woods. So if I start getting stuffy and really nasally, that's because the pencils are activating my allergies. Okay. One thing I find interesting is that there's a combination of black and silver faced front. It's kind of weird, and if you notice, these colors are right next to each other. So I just find that kind of weird, because the barrel is the same color. It's just the color indication here that's different. But some have black writing while others have silver font writing, and I'm like face writing, and I'm wondering if that has to do with the color indication, that maybe they feel if they put a black font on this it won't stand out as much. But they have a black font on this one, and I'm seeing this one fine, so I'm not sure what's going on. Again, this is my first impression, guys. I have opened this before, but I haven't really looked at it. Like I said, the only thing I actually did when I opened it was just to put this here so that when I come to you with a full perspective of what I think of these, I was ready and I don't have to wait for glue to dry or anything. And now they seem to be in numerical order, because I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, reaching 6. Some of the paint chipping has come off. 7, 8, and 9, and this seems to have 24, and this starts from 25 to 48. So this is number 20, PO 25, and this is PO 48. And then in the pan we have PO 49 to PO 72. So now that I have discussed all that, let me now start the swatching of these and tell you what I think. I'm gonna probably swatch 1 or 2, and then let me put this up. I'm gonna either go off camera or time lapse the rest. Okay, now we're starting this swatch, and I'm starting with number 1, which is titanium white. And I left enough of the box underneath it so I could kind of judge where the borders of this is. Yeah, this is their white. I don't know about that one. Okay, I kind of had to put down a cloth, well, some kind of protection paper underneath it, because I'm noticing that there's crumbs, if you notice, yeah, on it. And I kind of just cleaned my desk, so I don't want that to happen. And now this one is called Sakura. It's supposed to be Sakura. Wait. It's supposed to be number 9, Sakura Pink, but it's actually here. It says number 9, Sakura Pink. Well, the next color here is number 2, soft beige. That's weird. So now I have to look for soft beige here. Okay, it's right underneath it. Okay, so I see the order. It's going this way. It's not going up and right across. It's going up and down. I was like, okay, what's going on? Number 3 is lemon yellow. Four is cadmium yellow. And I can tell you with these, it feels kind of hard. It does. It reminds me of the Faber-Castell Pit Artist Pastel pencils, that hardness to it. I'm wondering if, because I waited so long to do this impression of it, to use it, maybe the tip of the lead, because I haven't sharpened it. If you notice, they're still with its factory sharpening. So I'm wondering if there is some kind of build up that hardened the outside of the lead, making it this hard. The other thing I want to test is this. And I want to test this because this specifically is a Derwent pastel sharpener. Now this sharpener is made by Derwent specifically for these pastel pencils. And I just so happen to have a pencil here, this number 7 one here, tip is a little short, and I really want to see how does it sharpen. Even though the company did say use a utility knife, I want to see what a pastel sharpener will do. Will it break my lid? It doesn't seem to break the lid, but if I'm noticing, the hold for this Derwent is bigger than my pencil itself. So yeah, it didn't break the lid. So you can see I got a fairly point for it, not a sharp point, a very blunt point, but a nice point nonetheless with the pastel sharpener. It did sharpen perfectly. It didn't break on me. So yeah, I was able to sharpen with the Derwent pastel sharpener with these. And let's see what's going on here. And I'm just gonna do this one row talking to you guys about it. And then I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this off camera and I'm gonna finish the rest. And then I'm gonna do some work with it. And then in part 2 of this video, guys, I'm gonna bring my full perspective to you. And this is the last color I'm gonna use, which is actually the flesh tint, even though it is not my flesh, if you can see. Yeah, this is not my flesh at all, but it's flesh tint nonetheless. Maybe it's someone's flesh, but just not my own. Yeah. So yeah, guys, thank you so much for joining me here in part 1. I'll be taking this away and working with these some, finish this swatching, and I'll join you back off the same video in part 2. Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. So today is the day we're gonna do the painting for the Kalour soft pastel colored pencils, and I don't want to spend too long because I spent a little too long in the beginning in part 1, so let's hurry this up. I just want to show you first my completed swatch card. What I did with these, it looks kind of dark because I put spray adhesive on them. I didn't want the trouble of when I'm using this swatch reference to be always rubbing off color, so I put spray adhesive on them. However, I did swatch them out without placing spray adhesive on them, and this is how it looks in the workbook that I'm using. Yeah, I prepared this workbook last year for these. So today we are going to be looking at the Kalour pastel soft pastels chalk pencils today. And one more bit of news. So another bit of news that I need to say is that I compared these to 3 other pastel soft chalk pastel colored pencils that I have. One of them is thanks to a generous friend, I was able to have some Stabilo Carbothello chalk pastel pencils. So this is how it's swatched out. I use tracing paper when I made this sketchbook, and this is the color illustration for that. I should be taking pictures and comparing them during my color session. I also have some Faber-Castell Pit pastel pencils. This is how it swatched out, and I did a color illustration for this as well. This is how it came out. And finally, I have some pointer chalk pastel colored pencils. I have 12 of those, and this is the color illustration for those. So yeah, I've been comparing these. I've been working with soft chalk pastel colored pencils for the month of January, and the last one I'm working with is the Kalour soft chalk pastel colored pencils. Even though it says soft pastels, I still put the word chalk in it because the actual sticks are also known as chalk pastels. So I just want to make sure I covered all areas, not all banks. Anyway, let me stop my blabbering and get into this color session. Okay, so we first started out by establishing where my shadows was going to be on the egg yolk. I think that's the yolk, or the egg white, sorry. I was first, and you see me there wiping my hands with some wet wipes, because for pastels I do have Q-tips and sponges, but for some reason I just enjoy using my fingers to do smudging. So, but I don't like my fingers to stay messy, so I prefer to wipe it off with some wipes. And I'm establishing first my shadows using, I believe that was Payne's Gray, but what I did first was I covered the entire egg white with white of the colored pencils, the titanium white that came in the Kalour set, and then I went in there with the warm gray, and I think that was warm gray number 1. And then, well, just warm gray, sorry, it was just warm gray, and then I went back. You saw me did sharpen with the Derwent pastel sharpener. I do have success with that as long as I'm not sharpening the pencils to a point. I do have success with that sharpener with these pencils. I am now using, I believe the color I'm using is yellow green for the plate itself. And again, you saw me first establishing where my shadows was going to be with, I think, cadmium green, and then go over it with the yellow green. I found that these pencils do blend excellently. However, the one, sorry, was getting my notes. I do find that they do blend excellently, but some of the stuff that I had problems with in swatching was with the cerulean blue. It seemed to be like the pointer where it developed like a sheen over it, and once it has that sheen, it doesn't give me color. It's like it kind of covers the core, the lead of the pencil. It's like a shine on it. The pastel sharpener does work with certain with the color with these pencils as long as I'm not sharpening to a point. And one of the things I noticed with these pencils that they come pre-sharpened, but not all of them come pre-sharpened to a point. Some of them come pre-sharpened to a very dull area, which is kind of weird. You know, you just can't, you do have to give those a point. And the warm gray was the only one that when I was working with during the swatching process, it crumbled with me. So yeah, I just want to make notes of that. But I do enjoy how these blend. One of the things I learned to do is not to blend into it, but to blend on top of it, and then I'll get a better blend. And I purposefully left the egg yolk for last because I knew that was going to be yellow, and I knew the other colors around it may have corrupted that. What I'm showing you here is the unevenness or the slant of the wood to indicate that the core is not centered properly. We will get other examples of that later on in this video. This was actually, I am enjoying using these pencils so much. I am using now this is turquoise, cobalt, light turquoise, cobalt blue I'm using for this. And now I'm going in there for the yolk, and this is where I'm perfecting that blending strategy. You know, it's kind of like I'm learning the blending strategy. Now this is the part of where I actually learned it, even though I did work with these pencils prior to this practice. And guys, this has been an interesting experience for me. I think now I'm learning to appreciate these pencils for what it is. Thank you so much for joining me here. And now let's wrap this up, and I'll see you in the end piece. Okay, so what do I think about these Kalour soft pastel pencils that I got for my birthday last year? I think they were decent pencils. I would have given you my notes and my thoughts in the color series of this piece here. Just a bit of note, I am using my colored pencil testing sheet for these, and as you notice in the corner, I have it at a percentage of 50%, and this is where I wrote my notes. Interestingly, when using this same testing sheet to look at the Faber-Castell and the Stabilo, those both got a score of 68% using the same tool, and the pointers that I alluded to in the beginning got a score of 23, I believe. Let me check guys, let me double check it, because I did yes, it got a score of 23%. So this was, sorry, give me a minute about that, my camera needed adjusting. I did find that it was vibrant. Just to run through this kind of quickly, I did find it was vibrant, but I had to do a lot of double layering to bring out that vibrancy, so I got it a score of 1 1 point out of the possible 2, so it only got half of the point it would have gotten. When it came to layering, it was kind of tricky for me to layer, and maybe it lends the fact that I am not someone who's accustomed to using soft pastels colored pencils, or these chalk pastels colored pencils, and that also lends itself when it comes to layering and blending. But I did give it half the point because I'm thinking maybe it is my inexperience why I'm not doing it properly. I'm not going to give it full 2 points because I was having difficulty. Color lay down, and I scored this color lay down basically because of the phthalo. Let me show you. See my swatch here? You see how the phthalo green looks? That's what I talk about, the sheen. It doesn't allow for the color to be vibrant. It kind of like, once it gets that sheen coating, you can also see it here, sorry, here and here. Once it gets that sheen, like it kind of coat the lead of the pencil, and you either have to sharpen it off or scratch it off so that you can, so I can be able to get color from it. And that's what I was talking about, that shine. The pointer pastel, chalk pastel pencils also have that effect, that when I work with it, after like maybe 2 or 3 strokes of the pencil lead, the chalk pastel pencils develop like a shine on it, which prevents color to lay down. The other issue I had, and that's why I only gave it a 1, it did got good marks for opacity, because let me show you something. On this side you have some little scratches inside these swatch boxes, and for some of them you cannot see it. And again, here perfectly illustrates the sheen of that phthalo blue. It kinds, and I believe this is also the burnt umber. It perfectly illustrates that sheen, which kind of prevents from color lay down. You can see it perfectly here. Let me see if I could bring you in closer. You see it perfectly there. Perfectly. Look at that. Look how scratchy that phthalo blue looks, and the burnt umber. And that's because of that sheen that comes on the lead when I use it. And that's the same effect I get with the pointers chalk pastel color pencils, and that's the reason I gave it a score of 23%, because a lot of the colors within that pencil line develop that sheen. The other issue I had with these pencils, I gave it a set of 1 for opacity because some of the colors are opaque. I did give it a score of 1 also, which is half of the maximum score you could get, which is a 2 for sharpening without breakage, because some of the leads did crumble with me while I sharpened them, and it didn't crumble because of how I was sharpening it, because I was really careful, guys, when I was sharpening these pencils. I think the pencils kind of probably got banged up in shipping, and maybe there was breakage within the barrels, and that's why I had issues. I am hoping that you guys saw me erasing. It doesn't erase completely, and I was using a kneadable eraser. Now this kneadable eraser, it could be the fault of the eraser because this is probably an older one, and but I want to use it out for my pastel illustrations. I'm hoping that you were able to grasp when I was doing that erasability. Does the pencil crumble in use? I did talk about the I think it was the Payne's gray that crumbled with me when I was using it and sharpening it. It just crumbled, like I said. Maybe it has to do with the fact that these was how it was handling shipping. I mean, it does have to come all the way from wherever Kalour is shipping it from to the address in the United States, and then from there to Belize. So it took quite a banging get in there. One of the things I don't think I highlighted in the first part of this perspective was that each colored pencil came with the name, the number, and light fastness, I guess, and the name Kalour only written on one side. These barrels are round. The other thing I did highlight in my talking piece is the barrel. I already swatched these, so you may not be able to see it clearly, but I'm thinking you probably would be able to see it on this one here. Let me show you one. This is the most perfect one. Yes, I did use it some, but I have not sharpened this, guys. And look at how you see that little slant there. It means that, 1 minute. So one of the other things you can see, sorry, I had to continuously adjust this camera. As you notice here, that little slant there, it means that the barrel, the lead itself is not perfectly centered in the barrel. So yeah, one of the significance of this and the reason why a lot of other art YouTubers highlight it, and they should tell you why they highlight it, is because when a lead is not perfectly centered in a barrel, it is more prone to breakage during sharpening. That is it. But like I said, I'm really careful when using it. Thankfully, I do have a pastel sharpener, so I'm able to use that, and I am really careful when using the pastel sharpener. Because these are pastels, they will have some form of water solubility, but I will not use these like watercolors. And that's about it, guys. This has been an amazing journey with these. I am thinking that I probably use these a little bit more to get more familiar with them. I should show you the practice piece I did with this. Here is the practice piece I did with this. These pencils here, it didn't came out really well. I did do some blending and smudging tests on this side with these. Also, here's another illustration I did with these. I did this grapefruit, and I haven't put fixative on it because, like I said, when you use fixative on these, it tend to destat the colors. So I'm okay with it like this because this is just a reference for me. But yeah, this is how my how it looked for the other piece that I did with this. I am thinking of doing another piece like this where I did a painting. But yeah, all in all, guys, let me know what you think of these Kalour soft pastel chalk pastels colored pencils. Have you used them before? What is your experience like? If you haven't used them before, what do you think of my perspective of them? I am now, after doing that little egg, enjoying using these, so I probably will use them again in other illustrations, and maybe I'll bring one of them to you here on this channel. Thank you guys so much for joining me on this journey, and as always, in 2025 we always have to stay safe, stay blessed, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys.